I had my first kid at 32, and then I had my second kid very soon after that, so just under 34. Yeah.
And how did you find that other environment? How did you decide to switch to private firms or in-house?
Yeah, so I went in-house, and it was pretty, I never wanted to be a partner, and that's a lot of that was because that I would, like I mentioned, I wouldn't see anything that I would attract me. I wouldn't see anything that I would want to be. I didn't see anybody that inspired me to become or to continue down that path during private practice, to become a partner in a firm. It just didn't seem like it was the career for me. So as a lawyer, if you want to stay as a lawyer, there's not that many different avenues. You either pretty much can stay where you are, or you can go in-house. Now, in-house is a very interesting prospect depending on where you are. And if it's for you, commercially, it can be a great place to get into because you're part of a business that you're helping the business achieve its goals. And therefore, you also have a little bit more control over your time. Now, it's not always like that, but certainly it will be more than having plentiful clients demanding or having demands on your time.
Yes, you mentioned that in the job in the agency, you had to work Sundays, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You were already a mother. You would be called, the deal has to be done, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting the way you categorized bodies.
Yes.
You said there is time in the career when you just need bodies to get a job done. And then when you're more senior, it's more about you and your skill set.
Yes.
And I think a lot of women, they try to navigate this career path. And is this the right time to be a mom? Yeah. And you told me a little bit about what's, in your opinion, is that right gap in between. Could you tell everybody?
Yeah. I don't think there's ever a right time, right? It's like, it's so hard. And everybody's so... everybody will make their own decisions based on their own lives. But for what I found, and for me, because that I'm from Canada, I had 4 years of my undergrads, of my first degree, and which meant that I was almost kind of like 4 years, give or take, older than most people, which meant that I was a junior at the time, like a junior mid-level lawyer, when I reached the time of 32 to the early 30s, we'll say. And that's the decision that I made to decide to have my first child. But it worked out really well for me. And I
felt when you told me, I was like, she cracked the formula. Yeah. She knows it. Everybody needs to do that.
I think it worked well because I didn't have a pull to go back to work, meaning that I know that if I leave at this time to go on my maternity leave, and I took almost full year for both of my kids. And when I was there, I was only a few years after post-qualification, which meant that there was somebody else that was going to do my job. If it wasn't me doing this deal, somebody else will do the deal. And it wasn't like they needed specifically me as in Lisa, to do the deal. There was plenty of other associates that could take it on. And so I think as a result, you didn't feel like, well, you weren't as invested. This is not my client, meaning I'm not the relationship partner. I'm not the person that needs to keep this business kind of going. If it wasn't me, then there's nobody else. So you kind of felt like you could take a step back. You could fully embrace your maternity leave because you didn't feel that draw to go back and do those deals, because it wasn't yours. It wasn't my ownership of that deal. So I think when I was more junior, it ended up being a more opportune time for me to take my maternity leaves and to be out of the business. Whereas if I'm older, or more senior, like I am now, it would be harder because if you do leave, you have to think about who's going to replace you. You have to think about, well, is my job going to, setting aside that legally it has to be there for you, but will it be the same? And will you feel as invested? Or, what kind of impact does it have on your relationship with other stakeholders that you have in your business? So I definitely think that for me, it worked out better when I was younger or more junior in my career to leave.
We actually did a little bit of research after talking to you, and we found quite a lot of data supporting this philosophy.
What is it?
So 31 to 34 is the best age to take maternity leave because it allows you to have gained a little bit of experience,
Yeah.
but like you said, not too much. So there is a big pool of jobs available.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, it leaves you enough time to still have that progression in career later on.
Yeah.
Because, once you're more senior, you're an expensive hire. People would think twice. So I feel like you really cracked the formula. So
well, I mean, I don't know if it was
you.
intentional, but it certainly worked out well on my side. So, so I'm quite happy with it.